Yes, here we go. It is the T.N.F, the night we hand over the keys to use for all your thoughts, points that you want to put by us. But there's only one place we're going to be talking about tonight on the bus. I appreciate that there's going to be loads and loads of Celtic pods all going live and all that at the same time. But yeah, we will be getting Mark's live reaction because Mark, you have kind of withheld. You know the first two teams we got. You don't know the other six. Is that fair?
Yeah, we got Dortmund at home and away,
Yes.
and we had was the other
We
one.
got Dortmund away
Because I've not
and
watched
we got
it. I was
Leipzig at home. That was our
Leipzig.
two pot one teams. Right.
Two German teams.
So, pot two teams we got Club Bruges at home, Atalanta away.
Oh fuck!
For pot two. That's not bad, is it? I know
Matt
Atalanta's
O'Reilly.
shit up.
Aye,
Matt O'Reilly went to Brighton, though, luckily. So, aye.
aye.
Right.
They're just for sake what he did.
Then in pot three, we got Young Boys Bern at home, Dynamo Zagreb away.
Oh, I remember them. Aye, okay.
Not bad. Used to be called Croatia Zagreb. Remember we played
Aye,
them with
remember
Rosaneki and all that. And
Mm-hmm.
then at home in the pot four, we got Slovan Bratislava at home and Astala away, as you rightfully predicted before we went live.
Who did we get?
Villa
Who was the
away.
last?
Villa away. Bratislava at home.
I knew that because Sean in my work had texted me saying,
Good draw,
good draw, and he's been choking for Aston Villa for weeks,
right?
so I was like, we must have got them, but so that's an away match. That's away.
So, yes, so let's go through the home fixtures first.
Right, go.
At home, we'll play 4 games. We'll play RB Leipzig at home, Club
Right.
Bruges of Belgium at home, Young Boys for Switzerland at home, and Slavan Bratislava at home. That is not bad, mate. Like, come on.
You take that. I mean, if
Our away games, Dortmund, Atalanta, Dynamo Zagreb, and Aston Villa.
Dortmund, Atlanta. See if you can pick up 1 point away from home, you've got a chance of getting through that because I think the other
I
4
think
games.
so.
I think the
I
4
think
home
that's
games. I think you can shoot for 6 points out of the home games, and that's being conservative.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
This has been our least glamorous Champions League draw, Mark. It's been the least glamorous in terms of teams.
To be honest.
Sorry?
The 4 home games are pretty shite, to be honest, but you want to win the matches, so I'd rather play Bratislava and Barcelona.
Yeah.
I mean, that's my opinion.
Yeah,
We've seen them all.
And we've done all that as well.
We've seen it all. So I'd rather play Bratislava. Is that the team that the Gordon Stratton lost 5 against? Is that them? Or was it Armedia?
5-0 to that was Armedia Bratislava. Good knowledge. This is Slovan, I think is Slovan Bratislava they're called. I've got to be honest. I look at those games, and a lot of them I would associate with Europa League games that we've picked up points in over even our barren European years. I'm looking at that draw there and going, this is interesting. This presents opportunity. Now, it's about time we had a fair crack at it, right? And I know you can argue, that they're all good teams in the Champions League. Of course they are. Of course they are. And if Celtic were to, end up getting 8 games, 8 defeats, none of us would be that surprised because we don't tool up for Europe whatsoever. And I still don't think, despite the Ingles signing, we will talk about that. I think when you lose a £30 million player, you bring in it's a replacement. It's someone to come in at the squad, not enhance the squad. It's a necessary signing to make our squad more like what it was like when it finished last season. We're looking for enhancements for the squad for a Champions League campaign. You've got to be licking your lips at this draw of saying, wow, Celtic with an opportunity. That's what I'll call it. They've been given an opportunity tonight, Mark, to progress in the Champions League and incredibly get that coefficient ramped right back up. There is points to be won there that will be worth, I don't know how to describe it, worth fortunes in terms of coefficient points, if that makes sense.
Why?
Because a Champions League win, mate, massive.
Well, interestingly, Quite interesting, boys. The format as it stands, the Conference League, Europa League, and Champions League, you get the same amount of points for a victory. So
Really? Oh,
I only
okay.
read this. I read this the other day. The reason why it became interesting for me is I'm pretty sure no matter what happens, Hearts are guaranteed group stage football.
Yeah,
So
they are.
they're guaranteed Conference League or Europa League, and
Yes, depending how they get on. Yep.
around how many points. Because let's get real here. If we want to see more Champions League football for Celtic, there's only two ways. One, we get serious in the market, or two, we build more points
Yeah.
when we're in it. And so I think Hearts might, hopefully get through to the Conference League. Because I don't like Hearts, but points mean prizes for Celtic. But also, you mentioned money there, boys. I think it's something like €3 million a win. No, that's a
Yes.
bonus for the board to maybe go. And if the rumours I've heard that we're going to be getting 15 million for Frimpong, he's seemingly going to be for 60 million. We're getting 15 million out of
Oh,
that.
haven't seen that one. You're the new David
So,
Logan of the bus, mate.
so just some nasty rumours that I made up in my head, to be honest with you. But on Twitter that said in that Frimpong's getting lined up to go to, I think it's Man U, and Celtic have got a 30% sell on
They do.
clause of the profit. The profit would be roughly 51 million or whatever it's going to be.
Yep.
And would give Celtic roughly 15 million. Now, I'm on record saying that I hate Celtic getting more money because it does my nut and they don't spend it. But the last couple of years, boys, with £11 million
Yep.
and £6 million being put on the table for two players who I think might just get pulled out of the line. For me, that's what I've been asking for 4, 5, 10 years, same as yourself. So I can't help but be
Yeah, totally, mate.
relieved and happy about that. So I don't exonerate the board for their misgivings at all. Far from it. Keep your eyes on the board is our message on this podcast. But if they're
Correct.
going to start behaving the way they're behaving just now, we can draw a line under what we've seen so far in this window.
Yeah.
And let's just hope this draw, which looks favourable, if this isn't an enticement for the board to press the button on the next target, whoever they may be, for points mean prizes, then
Yep.
I don't know what to go.
No. I hear what you're saying, mate. An interesting one that. And do you know what? The thing is, the Champions League, I think it's got the bit of romance. I think Celtic going to Dortmund really, really does whet the appetite as well in terms of how competitive a game that will be. Well, it's up to Celtic. We've brought down bigger giants than that in the past, but as a spectacle, I just think there'll be something about Celtic Dortmund that will be, if we're allowed to afford ourselves, Mark, a postcard game, which I think Celtic have tried to do well. 6 of the Champions League games over the past few years, to be perfectly honest with you.
Yeah.
That's my postcard game. That's the one where you go, Celtic fans versus, the Great Wall or whatever it's fucking called, the giant wall that they've got at the West, what's it called, that stadium in West London or something?
Western Stadium or something like
West, something like that.
That'll be the rehearsal for the Celtic to get the Celtic ends put out there. So the Green Bay game could be saying, "Oh, this is you could get like Jimbo and stuff." You know what I mean? We can see that coming just now, but we'll talk about that closer to the day, I'm sure. So, is there dates for these games, boys?
No, they're announced. So the order of fixtures has not been announced as of yet. The order of fixtures is announced on Saturday, and I'm guessing pretty early on Saturday. That's when the calendar is arranged. Right now, you just know what pots you've got each team. So there's no, we play Aston Villa at the end of the way. It doesn't matter like that just because we're drawn last.
No. That could be the first game. That could be the first game.
Spot on. It could be the first game. But, for those just joining us, 191 live already, so I appreciate you. I know the competition is fierce tonight, but hey, the bus will always do okay. We appreciate you jumping on, though, all the same. I'm going to run through the teams again, just in case people have missed
because I have to go, boys. If you get
there's a lot to go. There's a lot to take in, Mark, and it's 8 games. Do you know, son? Even though our discussions last week, I didn't realise we only played. Well, it was 8 different teams. I thought it was 8 games. 2 fixtures against each. There's only 1 fixture against each team. I've got
it's
lost.
Strange because you think in 9 teams, you forget we're one team. You go, well, that's 9 games. No, that's 8 games. You're forgetting that you're a team as well. I did the same thing to my dad last week as well. I thought we had 7 games and we were the 8th team, but it's 8 games and we're the 9th team. I think that's how it works. Or something like that.
Stephen Kennedy has put it up. I
Oh,
think
well
someone
done,
else
Stephen.
was saying, no, the order is confirmed, bud. Kevin, it's not. They were at pains to make that clear during the draw, mate, that this is not necessarily the order. But yeah, there it is in black and white. Thanks, Stephen Kennedy, for posting that. We've got RB Leipzig at home. We've got Borussia Dortmund away. Club Brugge at home. Atalanta away. Young Boys Bern at home. Dinamo Zagreb away. Slovan Bratislava at home. Aston Villa away. I mean, it's an interesting group, and I don't mean to be at any point,
That's quite
assumptions
exciting,
about
actually.
the
That
points and things like that. I just look at the group and feel it's a competitive one for us, a really competitive one where we can get our teeth into it. Would I like Celtic to have tooled up more for it? Yeah, we'll probably talk about that later in the show. But just want to focus right now on the
yeah,
actual group and the opposition itself and look at the merits of that. And then probably the second half of the show, we'll take your points on signing end goals, bids for Sheffield United defenders of around £6 million, and whether Celtic's, going to go big between now and 11 p.m. tomorrow night. But I just feel with these fixtures that finally we've been thrown a group that isn't all birthday card pish. I think Phil McGinley likes that term, Mark. Birthday
it
card
does.
pish. And I don't think this constitutes that at all. As I say, if there is one, it'd be, great experience being being in Germany for Borussia Dortmund. Something like that. But Leipzig we've beat at home. Club Brugge have been very ambitious with what they want to do in Europe of late. I think they were the team that signed Jack Henry for £10 million, if I remember. And
Aye,
hey, they spend fees. They think as soon as they've got to the big stage, they've went big with or they've grown their sort of outlay in terms of recruitment massively to suit the sort of trajectory their club seems to be growing on. Atalanta are playing some of the best football in Europe, and that was obviously crowned with a Europa League win just only 3 months
last,
ago. And if I'm
last,
not mistaken, them beating Leverkusen meant Leverkusen only lost one game last season. It was the Europa League final.
that's
Leverkusen
right.
won every single one of the other games, I think, or unbeaten. Maybe it was unbeaten in every single other game, I should say. That was
I'm
yeah.
beating,
So they were still so
that's still great at that level.
their only loss. Oh, it's frightening. So Atalanta are nae mugs. Young
No,
Boys Bern at home. I bizarrely watched their first half the other night. It was last week. I random was watching it. They looked okay. They
oh,
looked
aye.
okay, but they didn't look brilliant. Dinamo Zagreb, I have no idea, but you don't see their name in the Champions League often. Again, you go there, you try and get a how would you describe it? An unstylistic draw. Something that might not be easy in the eye, but we muddle our way through.
A Rangers result, basically.
Something like that, mate.
They
Aye.
do what they do, boys.
Yeah. I hear you.
Yeah. See, I think you get a point out of the four away games. You've got a chance,
Yep.
haven't you?
Yeah, totally, mate. Totally. Slovan Bratislava at home, that's where you get a chance to really sort of try and get goals, things like that. I know
Yeah.
it's a league, not a group. I appreciate you saying that, Paddy boy. I'm just used to calling it a group, you know what I mean? But it's a league. Well, get the goal difference up if it's a league. I don't know how they work all that out. I have no idea because it can't be on head to head. So I'm going to guess goal difference will
No.
play a part. And no disrespect to Slovan Bratislava, but Celtic really have done good things this summer. Celtic will have the tools to overcome a Bratislava at home and put a bit of shine on it. That would be a defining game for me as to have you really prepared for this competition or not. Villa away, I think we all know how tricky that'll be. They were the most misleading of the top four sides because I think anyone coming from the English Premier League, we know are going to be of a proper caliber if you finish in the top four in that league. So they were quite a deceptive pot four side. But overall, when you're looking at pot one, Leipzig and Dortmund, Mark, I think that's beyond fair, verging on kind in terms of when you look at the other teams that we've missed. Pot two, I seen them go through the sides that were in it. I just was shuddering. I was thinking it's going to be a Juventus song like that. Club Brugge for Belgium, Atalanta doable, a Swiss team, a Croatian team, and our fellow pot three, and then Bratislava and Aston Villa being the real dark horse. I mean, it's exciting, isn't it, to think that we're going in here, mate, with a fighting chance of making some sort of dent, getting at the very least the coefficient on Celtic results, not relying on others, on Celtic results, getting that coefficient back somewhere where it should be, that warrants then when we do win a league title, then equating to automatic qualification for the Champions League once again, because that is something that we will sorely miss if we don't have that as being the prize for winning the SPL or SPFL.
Well, I don't know what if it's been maybe the last hour or two watching the Celtic's business or the draw itself, but I've got a bit excited about that, boys. I'm not the kind of guy who gets excited about the Champions League, as you know. I certainly feel like I was going through them in my head, and I'm not trying to be trying to jinx this, but I can see 10, 11 points there. I can see three results at home. I think I can see a draw at home and I can see a draw away. I can see 11 points there. Now, for context, I don't know what gets you through. I know the first 24 gets you through to the last, gets you through to the knockout stage or the two-legged tie. So for context, I don't know what the new, before it was 9 points got you through. So I don't know what the new 9 points barrier is in the group stage to get through to the next 16. Is it 10 points? Is it going to be 11, 12? I don't know yet at this stage. So, but that was good to me. I mean, I might even see if Sean wants me to tag down to Aston Villa when I go to Birmingham. That sounds good to me. I don't know yet, boys. I'll see how the window goes where I get too excited. But I think the draw itself, to be quite honest with you, see the way the draw is formatted, I don't mind drawing a Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, as long as they're away from home. See the teams that are going to beat you. See you play them away from home. It gives you a fighting chance if you get the lesser teams at home. So I wouldn't have minded if we had Barcelona in there, but still had Bruges. We still had Real Madrid. We still had Leipzig. Because you got a chance of picking up points. Whereas before, I think you're kind of a slave to what you've got in your squad. For you kind of write off 6 points straight away. If you've got Madrid, you write off 6 points. If you've got Barcelona, you write off 6 points. Now you've got 8 different games and you've got 8 different challenges, and they're all cup ties. You don't know what's going. And this is probably what's maybe. I didn't think I was going to be excited about that until I seen the draw popping up there. More so that we've got, I think, winnable games. I think Leipzig at home is probably, just on paper, the toughest game. But we've seen before, sometimes when we get draws, we go, okay, that's a gimme. Shakhtar Donetsk, that's a 4-point, and then they turn out to be the dark horses. So I'm not going to preempt it, but Leipzig at home on paper look the hardest home game. The hardest away game for me, it's probably going to be Aston Villa. Is it Unai Emery, the guy who's in charge of PSG?
European manager.
Well, he's the one that killed me in Europe. Remember, his PSG beat us 5-0, and I've not been interested in Europe since. And
he won 4 Europa Leagues with Sevilla as well. I think 3, at least 3. At least 3 Europa Leagues he's won with Sevilla.
It went to PSG and it didn't work out for him because that's a poison challenge to a club. You know what I mean?
Yes. It's win Champions League or bust.
Yeah, that's it. And to be quite honest, they've not got the league structure to compete at the very, very top level at the end of the season. They've got a league that's probably them and everybody else. And I think you need some sort of week in, week out, physical, mental, and really hard, tough challenges every week. And I don't think you get that in France if you're a PSG, for talk's sake. So they're not going to win it unless they up their game. But even when they had Messi and all the rest of it, they still weren't taken seriously. So I think on the Villa game away is, I think with the geography of it, it's a couple of hours down the road in a train. Anybody that wants to go can go. You don't need to book flights and go to 14 different destinations.
Yeah.
They stop off at Venus and then an overnight in Mars. You can go there in 2 or 3 years. No hotel or nothing. You can just. So I think that'll be a good away day for the Celtic fans. You know what I mean? I might even go myself, as I said. I might take my dad in. I'll look at it later on once we get the dates, boys. But I think the board will see this as an excellent chance for us to put a foothold and get points on the board and get the fans really behind this new format. But I also feel like Brendan Rodgers will be sitting there going like that. I fancy this. I genuinely think he'll be saying to himself,
yes,
I'm not scared of that. And I don't think the fans are cocky in any way whatsoever. We've been through a lot of bad times in Europe in the last 20 years. But I think even the Celtic fans that are kind of doing the dumps about Europe, when I'm one of them, can look at it and say, It could just be stars in your eyes, but there's a definite possibility that we at least get to the last 2 or 3 games. We hope. That's
Plenty
what I'm
to play for.
saying.
That's what I want. I want plenty to play for, mate. I think that's,
Yeah.
you only need to cast your mind back to the Euros just been, and you look at Scotland's group there, and you think opportunity. There's one scudding in there, Germany, but the next 2 games, Switzerland, Hungary. There's chances, and you go into the last game. That's what I would have called hope going into the last game, and we never actually even tried to grab that hope. I think Roger's a different kettle of fish. I think he'll smell the opportunity from now. He'll not spread his bets too much. I
Mm.
think he'll feel that the games to go for, they'll go for. They won't just be sitting going, well, if we get a draw on that, then that leaves us Slovan Bratislava coming up. We might, if we nick the win there. That was sort of Clark's attitude with Hungary at the end. Nick your point against Switzerland, even though we're pummeling them with 10 minutes to go. Rodgers will go for the jugular in those moments and gets 3 points. And then we go into that next game with less pressure on. And because we're playing with less pressure, probably take 3 points. And
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? That's what
Yeah.
I want. I think that's, when you look at what Scotland did, I know it's 2 different things, right? But when you get opportunities like that group, which I think Scotland's not too dissimilar to this, began with big opportunity, right? Big opportunity. And we decided to leave it to the coziest game, which was the last one, Hungary. I put all our chips in that. I think Rodgers will be going, the Bratislava one, I'm not having it to be that. That'll be game we go into relax if it's further down the pecking order in fixtures, because if we've had moments of opportunity where we're dominating a Zagreb, etc., we won't just sit back and take the point. We'll go for the win, even in Croatia.
Mhm.
Things like this is what
Yeah, yeah.
separates a Rodgers level manager, I think, from a Clark one, if I'm being brutally honest to you. I just feel as well, when we look at, and major thanks to Inakoma, or Inakoma, Inakoma, come on, boys. Inakoma, I'm trying to put a wee spin on it. Inakoma, obviously, is what that avatar's meant to read. What is wrong with you, man? But they're saying, top 8 goes straight to the last 16. And if you finish between 9th to 24th, you'll then be playing like a 2-leg playoff. And the winners will go to the last 16 as
Yeah.
well.
I
So
knew
there's
that.
8 spots then. So you're 16. We want to be in that middle 16 and get that playoff. That's a doable request from the 8 fixtures that we've got coming up, is it not?
I think so, mate. I mean, as I say, we don't know what the target will be. We don't know the 9 points in Neil Lennon's quotes, but quotations. But I'm going to roughly, if it's only 2 more games, I'm going to roughly average that at 2 points extra. So I'm going to say 11 points gets you through. You know what I mean? Which I think that's doable. I think which might be key in this is how the fixtures are formulated. I think if we get a home game first, well, I think we've yet to win 3 points in our first European match in the group stage, or before. I don't know if I've ever done it before. If we can get 3 points in the very first game, I think it gives us a footing. And then if you
Yeah.
because I've seen us before, maybe being at home first. Luckily, maybe drop a point, drop 2 points, and then your next 2 invariably are 2 away games, and that just gets you into match day 4, and you've only got 1 point before
I get you.
kickoff. You know what I mean? And I think so. Ideally, I would rather have a home game first, perhaps against maybe, if not Bratislava, because I did get your point. If you've got the 3 points coming up, you want to churn through and get as many points as you can before you get to there. But I wouldn't be against us getting, which would be the easiest game on paper, get that first, get the 3 points first, and then see where we go from there. Because I don't think there's anything bad about getting points on the board early, especially when we have got the potential of 2 away games on the bounce that could be, I don't know, Dortmund and then Villa away. That's sticking points, and it changes the complexion of the group or the league.
Yeah. The order, the draw will be a massive factor in this match. A massive factor.
Because I don't know whether is it better having the first game home or your last game home. For me, the last game home is only good
First.
if that game's going to be
If you're still in it.
moment. So I'd rather get the 3 points, because
Fucking
the
right.
3 points is a confidence booster. It also gives the fans more hope. It also just galvanises your. But this is the thing about the draw looking pretty kind for Celtic, is if you're the board And the board will be sitting looking at that and going, adding the maths up, 3 wins, that's 8 million, whatever. They will be thinking to themselves, Aston Villa away, that's they're going to be the biggest game. The biggest game in the UK that week will be Celtic v Aston Villa. Without a doubt, that'll be the biggest game, right? That'll be the British derby. The British Battle of Britain, what they call it, right? Even though it's one champion versus 24th place. But the potential to make money in the games is high for Celtic. And that if that pushes the board to go that extra 10%, 5% on the player who maybe this boy, the defender, the other boy, this boy for Switzerland, if that pushes the board to add, just to press a button on these other deals, then why no? Because you've got the potential, 11 points would be the potential of, is that 20 million euros? 20 million euros? Am I right?
Well, we're looking at, for Engels today, there was an agreement that we would pay £11 million, €13 million, so just roughly about 11 million quid, maybe just a wee bit over £11 million. And then it's 20% selling as well. So potentially we've done a deal today that could be reaching 20 million quid outlay. Because when we sell our best players, yes, I have.
That's at 50 grand a week. That is outside Celtic's. That's outside Celtic's normal. Has there been a shift in the board level? Has Rodgers changed something? Because we've got money in the bank, but we know Celtic are very sound on their business model. And if I'm seeing a £50,000 a week player coming in, there's definitely been a shift at somewhere. There's definitely
they've been forced into that essentially as well. Because
they've been embarrassed into it, haven't they?
Yeah. The time is running out. So if they don't get someone in of proper calibre, with a wee bit of pedigree about them, whilst we lose our best player, regardless, people want to say we've got 30 million for, we still lost from the footballing side of things, our best player. So they had to make some sort of reach to make fans' imagination get captured again. That was always going to be necessary. Now, what the player wants in terms of terms, it's his gift. You know what people need to remember is, I've had this argument for years now, Matt, where folk are trying to fucking tell you that guys for the top 5 leagues don't want to come to Celtic. It's impossible due to weather, and they don't leave the top 5 leagues to play in the SPFL. But we've just proved they do. Funnily enough, though, what was king was fucking spending money, which has been the argument the whole time. If he wants 50 grand a week, you'll need to pay it. You'll need to get up. You'll need to get up to speed here. But I also think there's an expose coming out when you see the accounts, and they're going to be such between this Champions League prize money, the season tickets, the pre-season tour, the sales of 4 players, all for money.
50 million was since February. Do you see that?
Oh yeah, 50 million since February, easy, mate. When you look at the departure of Abada, you look at who was the other one that went.
Turnbull, Haksabanovic,
Johnston. It's incredible when you look at it, and with that all combined, they knew when those accounts came up, if they've not made a dent in that at all,
I know.
helmet them. And you know what? This group today should be proven. When we go back to the draw itself, this group itself should be proven why we need to be hungrier for Europe. Because opportunities can present themselves, and I'll keep going back to. I call this an 8-game window of opportunity for Celtic. It is laced with it, and that's a chance to progress the club on and off the field, reputation enhancing, coefficient boosting, and fans on side again. That's what it does. It gets the fans back on side. If we were to get 3 wins in the Champions League, that'd be 3 out of 8 games, still less than half. And I think you would have a fan base reinvigorated with their attitude towards Europe. You are the most famous on the bus for saying, I generally don't even take up my Champions League package, Boyce, because you are, what was the word that began with an A?
Apathetic.
Apathetic towards Europe. And that blew my mind, and I thought, fuck, that shows that even a strong-minded guy like you, stubborn at times, you could say, Mark, and even you've wilted completely with your European ambition because of a downsizing of effort in the competition, and then a downsizing of expectation for the fan. And that found you at a place where the 3-match package, you're like, look, someone else have it. Someone else have it because I'm not actually wanting to go. If we can now look at the last few days of this window and go 6 million centre half, Anthony Joseph just reported. I don't know how much weight that carries, but Anthony Joseph just reported uh, 5 minutes ago that Trusty from Sheffield United's about to join, 6 million quid.
Done
We've
deal,
got the
aye.
11 million Ingles. Yeah, that's apparently now just about to be done. Then you've got your 11 million pound for Ingles, 17 million pound in a day with the most favourable Champions League group draw we've ever had. Period, since the Champions League sort of became you got multiple teams, not just round by round. This is the most favourable draw we've ever had before a ball's been kicked. And when you combine that with then seeing a wee bit of ambition finally in terms of the recruitment, this would be a week we've got a guy from Barcelona, which we're hoping by the fact he's been given the number 11 jersey, is here to take and fight for Taylor's jersey, not to sit on the bench. We've brought in a guy from a top 5 league, which we're told we could never do. We've bust our wage bracket to do so, and we broke our transfer fee record to do so. We've brought in a left-sided centre-back, which we've been crying out for the whole time, for a fee that will make our top 5 or 6 of all time. For a defender, do you know what I mean, as well? It would equal what we paid for Cameron Carter-Vickers. We all know how he's done at Celtic so far. These are positives, mate. These are positive conversations. And forgive me for trying to sound like a smartass, but is this not what we've been petitioning for in the bus for 2 years? Give us a bit of hope. Give us a bit of, something to cling on and go, fucking hell, they mean business again. And then you'll get, moments like today where you see a draw that we've got an absolute opportunity to do something in. I'm fascinated to see if Celtic look at that draw, and if Rodgers is looking at it from the prism you just described, and he goes, listen, now I want X and Y before that window shuts at 11 o'clock. And the board might just be a wee bit stimulated by the draw that they've just seen there and go, okay, we're going to push the boat out for that as well. It's a huge, huge 28 hours we've now got in Celtic season. What could become, I say this with hope and getting a wee bit excited, not going to lie.
Why not?
We're on the brink. We're on the brink of having a chance of having a very memorable season for both domestic football and finally again for a bit of European joy as well. And what that would mean to the fans. Not win a knockout game in fucking 21 years, this will be 21 seasons. And to think Celtic could be in a playoff to get to the last 16 of the Champions League, maybe even have a fighting chance in it. Who knows? Who knows if the draw's as kind as this or as fair as this? Who knows? But just to go in with a wee bit of optimism again to Europe and hopefully pick up some points there, that is the sort of season I'm after, mate. Not just domestic bliss. It blows the life out of me. That's all you can see. That's as far as you can see for Celtic is just domestic bliss. I think we have to react. It's better late than never. But to the money we've got for O'Reilly and the draw that we had today.
Oh, 100%, mate. I mean, you've got to get the positives out of the way because we can't take excitement out of a draw like that and out of transfers like the last maybe 24 hours at Celtic Park. And why are you watching football? That's what we've been saying for the last 2-3 seasons on this pod. Where we're giving you everything we've got, every penny we've got. We're going to the games as much as possible. We're giving you everything. And then we want just a wee bit back. And this is us getting something back. See, when you see these transfers, it's nothing more than we deserve. I mean, we deserve these type of players, you know what I mean? We really do. But they go to the stage where you're thinking, we're not going to go to that next level at Celtic. So I'm surprised at that. When you mentioned X and Y, I went, fuck, another Japanese player. I thought you'd get a player lined up for me, that boy, say for Anthony Joseph's Twitter page. But no, I just don't think
I
Celtic...
blocked him on Twitter. I didn't know I blocked anyone on Twitter. A guy called Michael McDonald. He's always been in the bus chat. I can't remember blocking him, mate.
Oh, there was somebody messaged me on DM saying, can you ask Boyce to unblock me? I went, Boyce may be mad with it, which when they like him and block somebody, but that's not sort of thing you would do, really. But
no, I don't know if
I blocked so many folk because they tell me bad things. But no, I think it's exciting.
Michael.
You're unblocked. You're unblocked. Stay tuned for the Christmas single, mate. We'll unblock you for that.
Boyce's Wish.
Boyce's Wish coming to you live from G4 Studios. We'll get that organised. What Boyce? I'm excited about it now. You know, I've long since been totally apathetic with Europe, and even me, who's a hard-nosed brat at times, when I seen that draw lined up there on the bottom of the page, thanks Stephen, I did, I did get a bit excited, especially with the home matches, to be honest with you, because that's something that you can see wins there, you can see points there, you can see the place being rocking, like the Celtic getting. I mean, we beat Feyenoord last year. It was a nothing match, and the place was still rocking. You know what I mean? This is an opportunity for Celtic to give the fans, something to really cling on to. I mean,
Wins of substance.
Wins of substance, mate, and points mean prizes. I mean, and I think it's something like €2.5 million. So there's honey there when you spend the money for a Celtic board. I'm hoping if there was anything that was going to tip them over the edge to go, right, there's even one more for you, Rodgers, it's this straw. Because, as I said, 11 points at £2.5 million, whatever it is a point, you're talking another £20 million on top of that. And if the Frimpong deal goes through, there's Celtic's biggest ever transfer being paid for, and then some. We a transfer we made during the COVID season for Frimpong. So Celtic are getting money hand their fist, and this is the time. If Celtic, these rules are coming into play, these FFP rules. I did see that 2027 things might take a downturn for the likes of Celtic in terms of spending and wages to income to spending. So we've got up to 2027 to make a mess to this opportunity just now to spend what we can. And if we can build up more Matt O'Reilly's of an even higher calibre incoming for transfers, that puts us in a position that when we do get tougher penalties and tougher sanctions in Europe for spending money, we're in a position where we are so far above our high water mark where we are still paying players 30, 40 grand a week, and it's not getting us in a position that we can frown upon. We can do it quite comfortably, because Scottish football will never ever sustain Celtic. Celtic sustain Scottish football. Celtic have got to make the highest revenues they can through European football, through merchandise, through kit sales, all the rest of it, and also through player trading, which is probably their biggest, if not their second biggest asset. These all go hand in hand, and every single one of them is fully focused on what happens in the park. The fans are more engaged when the team's winning. The fans are more engaged when there's team we're playing European games, and the fans are full of energy and hope. That feeds into the club. You know what I mean? Money gets spent even more so. And as Rodgers said, and I thought Rodgers was really nice to point this out last week, Celtic fans, I had 2 season books during COVID. We paid for a season. We did it twice actually without seeing football. Angie's first season, there was no promise on the season ticket. We were told we might not get football. We were told
Very good point. Yep.
And Rodgers was good because Rodgers wasn't in Scotland at that point, but he still tuned into that. I think he was making a message to the Celtic fans and the board. No a dig at the board, but he was letting the fans and the board know that this mob are very loyal to this club. They give you money they've not got season in, season out, and they deserve something back. And I think for what I've seen today, I don't exonerate that board. I think they should have been doing that 10 years ago. But I'm just talking about just now, boys. Far from it from me. It's for me to praise this horrible board. But what I saw today, and what potentially we'll see tomorrow, is what I've been asking for years, and you, and always on the pod. So I can't do anything but feel excited about that, because this actually eats into our game on Sunday, because instead of going there on Sunday flinging sharks, we've got to be sitting there on Sunday flinging beach balls with excitement about the players coming in, about the Champions League. That takes a different spin altogether, boys, if you get into that game on Sunday with the fans still as angry as what they were yesterday morning. It's got this is like a rolling ball, you know what I mean? It gathers up so much. And I think if Celtic can keep this momentum going, excite the fans a bit more, then Sunday will take care of itself and all.
Mark, the one thing as well which is so important to combine all of this with is it's been an exciting start to the season on the park.
Yeah, it has.
But this hasn't been in the backdrop of you can see we need improvements, you can see this, we're doing it from a position of strength where we're going, do you know what? Scalesy will be able to do a brilliant job for us. I just called him Scalesy. Don't know if that was appropriate. I'll just go
How
back to
London
calling
of
him
you?
Scalesy. I
Are
think
you
it's me
EPL
now.
fan now?
Yeah, I'm down at Scalesy. I don't know where that came from. Second best pal. But I was like, I'm thinking, this could have been the backdrop of, say, imagine if it was this time last year, out the League Cup, first round. This could have been the backdrop of dropping points at home in your second home game, things like this, where right now we've went into, I think we've started, I think for pre-season, and it was big scalps. See, the thing is, pre-season can work either way. Didn't pay attention to it, it's a load of shite. See, when it's Chelsea, Man City, and we beat them, I'll pay attention to it, and everyone has. The beauty, the reason why I paid attention to it was so important was we carried that on into the domestic actual competitive fixtures.
Yeah.
This is the perfect storm right now you're finding for Celtic. We've got the right manager in charge, who to me has been finding his swagger, I think, since lifting his 2 trophies. He's banked them and uses them as his very much his ammunition. It makes his arguments carry weight now. There's none of this. Oh, actually, one of the reasons I came back to Celtic is, the recruitment's changed so much. He's now telling you the last 3 windows haven't been good enough, and he's in a position of strength to do so because he's got those trophies in the bank and he's got the well wishes of not all the fans yet, but let's say about 85-15% now, I would say, are in favour of Brendan Rodgers being in charge, whereas this time last year it's probably about 60-40. That's the honest truth. I couldn't understand it, but hey, it's everyone's opinion and they're entitled to it. But on the field, I'm looking at improvements getting made by guys. If Rodgers, by guys that maybe not everyone even fancies that much as a Celtic player, maybe we didn't think guys like Liam Scales should be in the team, but they've improved. Greg Taylor started this season. He started it well. We just needed a new left back anyway. I'm looking right across this whole board, the whole, poor choice of word there, board. I'm looking across the bigger picture, Mark, and I'm going,
Aye.
football-wise, Celtic's playing really good stuff this year. If this was Ange Postecoglou, everyone's away, for a wet dream. Do you know what I mean? This is proper Brodge ball, I think they're calling it. Brodge ball, like that. And we're watching that in full flow now
I
with
know
what he's
Rog
got.
Ball, but Rog Ball
I don't
slides
know. I think
easier
it's
along
the
the tongue.
I think it's the
Rog,
alliteration folk are going. I don't know, mate. I've never
well,
called him
it's
Brodge.
think about this Rog Ball. It's
Brodge
so
ball.
much more. It's
Yeah,
calmer.
well,
You're not shouting it. You're not spitting beer. You're not spitting tea. It's just Rog Ball. You know
Judge,
what I mean?
we'll call it Rodge ball if that makes you happy. But I'm
It
happy
makes
to
me
go
feel
with that.
a bit more special that you've took that on board, mate. Aye.
No problem at all, mate. Message taken. Rodge ball is in full flow right now because off the tongue and on the park. But not just that. We're seeing a wee bit more. I think they had no choice, but they'll get the plaudits whilst it happens. More
Aye.
aggression now in terms of fee outlays, wages outlays, and guys for top 5 leagues coming to Celtic. No way. One guy who started 30 games in the Bundesliga, another guy who started 32 games in the English Premier League last season. That's the reality of the 2 signings if we get them both over the line, probably early tomorrow. Let's try and get one more in, or if not 2. Get another ambitious loan, one of these crazy loan wildcard ones. Why not? There'll be loads of players, mate, available that won't make squad registration lists and things. And I don't know. I just feel that right now there's a real positivity since that draw, since the announcement of Engels right before it. Timing is everything. And the
Yeah.
board will be sitting there smug as fuck that they've got even biggest critics of them, like myself, ranting and raving now in a positive manner. They'll be going, I played him like a fool again. But I'm willing to be that fool one more time when we have excitement in there like that. And it's nice to be excited about Celtic. This is the imagination that I've spoke to you about many a time, Mark, that I want captured as a fan again. We've took all the fun out. We've sucked all the life out of the fun out of being a Celtic fan. Everyone's about,
Yeah.
we can't do this and we can't do that. Well, now everyone's looking at the Champions League going suddenly, well, we could maybe do something in that. We could maybe get wins. And then suddenly people are seeing top 5 league players joining for record-breaking wages, record-breaking fees. And suddenly folk are, whether they like it or not, having to go, oh, well, we can do that. And suddenly all the dementors around Celtic Park can go away. Shoo, see you later.
Aye.
On you go. Because actually this is now, in the last 24 hours, a version of Celtic, as you rightfully point out, we've been asking for on the bus for the best part of 3 years.
Definitely, mate. And you've got to at least give credit to the club for reluctantly going down this path because, as you said a minute ago, there, like, you were feeling like you weren't enjoying it, and I was feeling guilty about that. I wasn't enjoying certain parts of Celtic just now, and I'm going to admit it. There was parts of the games this season that Celtic are playing good football, and I've not been enjoying it, boys. And I've been feeling guilty about it. I'm going to be honest with you, and I feel invigorated just with the days stuff, and I don't feel guilty saying that. I mean, it's the truth of the matter is, I think Celtic is it's like how a woman must feel when a guy just hits them with shite all the time, and they get let down one more time and one more time, and they take them back. So the way I can describe it is you're just a woman and you just put up with the shite, and eventually it comes in my box
Wouldn't
of
know
chocolates.
anything about that, FYI.
No,
I
no,
wouldn't
man.
know anything
You
about
came
that,
in my
you
box
know,
of chocolates
crackhead.
tonight, and it made me feel special
Oh,
again. That's what I'm
right.
saying, right? And I don't know, I don't know if it's just the Highland Spring or something there, but I'm feeling good about Celtic tonight. You know what I mean? And to the degree that I probably will go to that villa, well, go down to the place and stand outside the stadium. Maybe I've not got a ticket, but I will go down there. I think, and for me, that's an upturn in events. But the boy Engels, that's one that I've been really excited about. Honestly, like really, it reminds me of the striker we nearly got in 2012-13. The boy,
Finn Bogason,
and it was one that I was really, honestly, I was
desperate
buzzed
for.
about, desperate for, and
Yeah.
we didn't get over the line, and I've always hanged it since. But I had the same feeling about this guy. I went, that's what I'm going to get. This guy just looks like we shouldn't have this player because
My worry
seemingly,
was someone else comes in. I
well,
thought if you keep fucking about here,
yeah,
because
well,
this link's been
Celtic
now
did that.
4 weeks, you know?
We Celtic did. This is what Celtic have always done. Even the EPL teams, to a lesser extent, when Celtic want a higher end
Mm.
player, teams go, Celtic want him. Well, he must be something in there. And I felt like somebody's got to come in and just take this boy because according to that commentator Derek Ray, I think his name is, this guy is like a hidden gem and he won't stay hidden for long. Somebody is going
No.
to take him. And the fact that we've managed to get us over the line, and this Rogers said about 10 days ago, I don't know if you remember, he said, we've done the £2 million and getting back £25 million. Why not go for the £8-10 million to get back 40? Maybe this
Yeah.
is that player, boys. In his mind and in the club's mind, this is the player that might get in because he's came from the Bundesliga, top 5 league.
Mm.
Why the most watched youth players get about, according to a thing I read earlier on. And Celtic have got him. So this isn't a Scottish youth player that now has to be sold to the world as having ability. This is a player who's got a level of ability that Celtic have got a gem in and can flourish and nourish the guy. So there
Well,
is a
with the
ceiling
Brendan
value in
Rodgers
this guy.
effect as well, Mark.
Yeah. Well,
Isn't it?
there's no player that I've witnessed at Celtic that hasn't got better under Rodgers and he's both his spells. I've always said if you don't get better under Rodgers, it's because
Something wrong with the player. Yeah.
you can't get better. You've hit an Nadia Shifty wall where you're just not
Yep.
going to get any
Yep.
better. So I think we'll get these defender and is it Trusty and a funny name.
Trusty, I know.
Trusty, it was quite
I
ironic.
didn't even think about any reference to my first name with Trusty, I'm telling you right now.
Well, I tell you, Trusty. Well, see, see Arnie, this guy Arnie Ingles. I mean, if Celtic don't use an Arnold Schwarzenegger gif to unveil him tomorrow, and there's something wrong with him because that's a shoe-in for the PR team,
Oh,
isn't it?
it's going to be
And
Robbie Williams, mate.
if he
It's
if
going to
he
be
comes
Robbie
in on
Williams. I'm
Sunday,
loving Engels instead, and that breaks my heart because I hate wee Robbie
maybe.
Williams.
Oh,
Big
I
fan
think
of
you
him.
will. Well, Oasis just now are a. That's Roy Williams, but the Oasis are now a big, massive talking point.
Mm,
So they might try and fling them in somewhere. You know what I mean? I don't know how they would do it,
yeah,
but
that'd be good. There's always a way, mate.
and
There's
you
always
can
a way.
imagine if maybe if Arnie, I don't know, I can see the headline just now. Maybe if he scores and that left back that got proper, you can imagine like Arnie gets to the proper. Is it no Marlon gets to the chopper? I can just see it.
I
Remember
don't want
that?
to know anything about Arnie's chopper, mate.
I
This is
will.
a family show, mate. It's a
Well, that's
family
his
show.
wife, mate. I'm pretty sure she'll tell you. But I was looking forward to it. I mean, I'm getting giddy that Celtic have actually spent a club day. It doesn't happen very often. And
Well, it doesn't, mate. It's something to be
no,
celebrated. You're absolutely right, by the way. We'll always, by the way, on the bus be keeping our eyes on the board. There's 308 of you
100%.
watching live right now. I can't thank 308 of you enough. Please do If you're enjoying the chat, hit the like button, hit the wee bell, hit subscribe, and all that carry on, and you won't miss another bus. But notwithstanding it, Matt, let's go through it then, position by position, like we have been all window, and I think it's remiss not to. Let's go on the assumption we get Engels in. Let's go on the assumption Trusty's in. That's your left-sided centre-back. We've got, is it Valley? Vala? Didn't want to talk about Valleys.
Valley. It's pronounced with a B. I think V means being.
So it's Valley.
Ballet.
Oh,
But I
know.
know.
Right,
Just
anyway,
call them the Barcelona.
Our record of fullbacks or left backs beginning with B. I'm going to go with V.
Oh no!
Right, because that's Bolingoli and Bernabeu. We're thinking of, right? Bolly. What was he? Bolly. What was he? He had three names.
Goalie.
No, but there was a middle one as well. There was Bolly. Someone will tell us the full name. There'll be someone in the chat. It's more than just Bolly Bolingoli. There's a middle name. It's Bolly Bongo Bongoli or something like that. It's mental, mate. His full name.
Me.
No, someone will tell us.
Bad enough. They put a bongo in me. You get Boyer, Bolingoli, Bernabeu. Oh, don't tell me anymore.
But mate, honestly. But anyway, let's get back to it. So we get Valley at left back. So that's the left back area we wanted addressed. The jury's out. We will see how this Barcelona youth player does. We understand that they extended the contract of him. There's no option to buy, but there's a release clause now inserted that's very Celticable, shall we say.
Yeah.
We look at the left centre-back, if Trusty's joining, and we're going on that assumption, that's what we wanted. We wanted it, and he started 32 EPL games last year. He was at Arsenal the rest of his career, I think. So this sort of experience, good, okay, and I think it keeps that balance for Cameron Carter-Vickers, etc. We've got Engels coming in, a massive void left by O'Reilly. We were never ever. That was it, Michael 67. Right, wait for this. Bolingoli and Bombo. That is his name, mate.
That's a juice. That's a juice I used to get my packed lunch at school.
Bongo, the drink it in the Congo. When it comes to son of fun and goodness in the jungle. I remember all that. But Bongoli and Bombo. That was the Mbombo bit I forgot.
My God, man.
But if you look at those positions, that's two areas strengthened. I look at the midfielder and go, impossible just to replace Matt O'Reilly outright. I would have liked another one in midfield, and I think Rodgers did as well. Do we now say McCowan before the deadline day won't be the headline grabber, but you get him in for £1 million and you go, look, this is an arduous task, doing potentially 10 Champions League games to make the last 16. 10, it may well take us. Right? I think we've got to look at this and go, Dylan, is it Dylan McCowan? Have I just made up his first name? Why did I do that? Luke McCowan. Why did I call him Dylan? He's Luke McCowan. Where am I getting Dylan for? Anyway, I must have worked with someone called Dylan.
It's a
Budweiser. Fucking one bund I'm away. But I think McCowan comes in. I'm okay with that. And then I think you need to look at what's your luxury position. Do you go and get an Eduardo on loan for the last year of his deal because Palace don't want him? Sign like that, and that's just for talking's sake. I don't know who's on Celtic's list, but maybe just that third striker that really you go, fuck, we mean business here. Fuck out. Celtic, by the way, the form they're in, 2 up top, we could smash teams at certain times this year. 3 strikers, I think, for a potential 10-game European campaign, minimum 8, potentially 10, and if it's a successful 10, that would lead to 12. This is a lot of football. We want good cup runs. There's scope to go and get that one signing that you go, fucking hell, never thought we'd get him. Many would have pointed to maybe a Jota coming in. He's going to Rennes now as being that guy. Is there any other area you're looking at the club to try and strengthen right now, Mark? Or would you say, based on what we've got right now, there's going to be a wee bit more filler? Or will there be something? One more moment, Celtic, blow our minds between now and Friday at 11 o'clock.
Well, I think we need somebody that's box to box. I think Luke McCowan does that, but no at the elite level. In Scotland, they can do that. Lennon Miller would probably be another one, because if we let go of Mikey Johnson, we need one more Scottish player, one more homegrown player for the Champions League. Now, unless Tully's going to come in, unless Tully's going to be into the first team squad for the Champions League because that would replace him, wouldn't it?
Would you maybe get Luke McKibben to fill that void,
He
and
would
then
be.
go with, and then Lennon Miller,
He could.
and then Lennon Miller, you could go
He's box
sign
to
him,
box as well, isn't he?
and then give him back for the on loan, which
Oh,
I
see,
wouldn't
Lennon,
be against. He's only
well,
17, 18.
he's 18,
He's
and
just under 18. Just under 18. Sorry.
and he likes the midfield to attack very well. He's in that kind of in that role where he could. Sometimes we're missing somebody to link up midfield and attack. We can't just be spraying balls left and right for Hatate and McGregor and hoping that the wingers do the work for you. You need somebody in the middle sometimes, you know what I mean? And I think that boy can do that. I mean, there's no exaggeration that if he was in the Celtic squad, I think he'd be getting game time just now. Even at his age, I think the boy looks brilliant, that Lennon Miller. I'm quite surprised Rangers are skinting now. I'm surprised they've no bought him because it looks a shoe-in for a Rangers jersey, to be honest with you. So we could go out and spend £3 million or more and bring these two in.
Yeah, I would love that. I would love that. Would be a real domestic show of strength as well, which we've not seen yet, Mark, because the Miovski one, I know for a fact, was one we felt, well, he's there at $6.5 million. Just go get him. Players don't get valued at that Aberdeen often by European clubs. There's a reason for it. I think it's important each window, whilst we should always leave every window with a stronger squad. 9 times out of 10, I want a stronger first team. And that might be, by the way, Matt O'Reilly leaving. But it might be we've got a better left back with that money and a better centre midfielder, a better centre back. So that it's better in a different way now. Do you know what I mean? Because you're not going to sell a 30 million player and replace him with a better one. It doesn't need to be a straight swap. But the first team, you should be looking to leave stronger. And then I also think one of the other KPIs I would have of your recruitment team would be, have we identified and have we definitely scoured our own back garden and made sure the cream of the crop are Celtic bound in whatever way, shape or form that may be? The way I'm talking about with Dylan McCowan. Come in, squad player, do your League Cup games, do home games in the league, give Calmac a break, things like this. And in the sense of a Lennon Miller, I should say, you get something like that in. Yeah, he's on the books, but we've loaned him back out. This is a sort of forward thinking I think should be part of the prerequisite for Celtic's recruitment. It should be getting in. Maybe you've got to sell a big player in summer to keep just to make the board be able to sleep at night and that for 12 months. And that's just how they are. Sound. Okay. But if you do that, can we still then use that money, let alone the prize money, the season ticket money, the merchandise money? Can we still use that money then to make sure the first team, or at the very least the first team squad, is stronger than what we went into the window with? That should be a prerequisite. And then I think, secondly, have we made sure the very best from the last 12 months in Scotland, we have got either Celtic bound or in Celtic by contract but back out on loan? These are fair, I think, assumptions to make for us.
I think you can invest quite small fry within Scottish football and get maximum benefits. You know what I mean? Even within the Scottish market, when the Scottish players tend to go for buttons compared to English or foreign players, we still managed to get circa £10 million for Ryan Christie. All right, that's an outlier really, but when Ferguson for Aberdeen's got to Serie A and turn it up, the boy Hickey got to Serie A and turn it up. Other players are going for Scotland to Serie A. There seems to be a wee upturn in Scottish players' progression within football now. I mean, Scott McTominay, he's now went to Man U to Serie A as well. That's still going to one big fish to another fish. There is still a lot of Scottish talent out there playing for big teams and big leagues. We could be the middleman there and still fulfill our quota, you know what I mean, for Champions League, but then get the benefit of these youth players coming through. Celtic did it before with Ryan Christie again. We bought him for Inverness Cali, kept him on loan for a season. And we've loaned out Scottish based players before, like Carl McGregor's went out on loan, you know what I mean? Charlie Mulgrew, I think, went out on loan as well. These things do happen. The Celtic I think the Celtic board fall into the same trap as the fans were. they're wanting that fancy name. They want to, get the fans' imaginations piqued. But we're not expecting guys to come from Dundee and get into the first team and run amok in Scottish football. But as I say, they can become that middleman. We can become that middleman where we've got Scottish players within the squad who might play 30, 40 games for Celtic, might move on at a profit, but provide that squad level player and also provide a couple of quid on the way out as well. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, every top level team won't have 11 star players. A 25-man squad will have 7 or 8 players who will, season in, season out, make 4 or 5, 6, 7 appearances, boys. They just won't play every week. And Celtic are no better than any of these teams. And I think guys within our league, the thing is, playing for Celtic is a very, very heavy jersey. It's a very heavy jersey to wear. So that comes different. But if you're playing in Scotland and you're competing and playing well week in, week out against the other teams within Scotland, that gives you the base level that you should be able to come to Celtic, work with Celtic's higher level coaching staff, and at least compete within Scottish football wearing a Celtic jersey. If your mindset is you can't do that, that's when you fall by the wayside. But Celtic have got the ability to bring these players in, bring them up to the high standard they're going to be at, and move them on. But in the meantime, have Scottish football level squad players, European quota players, and then the ability to make a couple of quid in the way out the door. That ticks where the boxes for me.
Well, I agree, and I could see. I think it's Sanford Celtic is saying no more squad fillers, quality only. But that sadly is though. That's based on the 9-ball pool that we played last year. A complete game of luck with 9 players, hoping they would all work out by non-football guys making football decisions for Celtic. You take that window away, and probably the last few before that as well, where there's been the odd fucking dodgy one. Let's have it right. But in terms of actual play, going within Scotland, we don't do it anymore.
No,
I wouldn't let that. I think the money we spent last year, for example, 18 million, you could have spent a third of that, in fact, a quarter of that, on 2 or 3 guys for the Scottish League and make them your projects, and add them to maybe either the first team squad if at that age. Like that one will annoy me till the cows come home. I bet you he does all right. I bet who was it he joined? Girona,
but he was getting tapped
in the Champions League.
He plays debut there. No,
Folk are mad if they didn't think he would do well.
See, the last 14 years, I'd probably say there's been 3 players that have pissed off every Celtic fan for as long as I can remember.
Go on.
And it's John McGinn. He's Scottish.
Yep.
Playing for Hibs. Celtic didn't buy him.
Stephen Fletcher.
Another one. I mean, I don't believe it. I still say that if we'd re-signed Stephen Fletcher that January, we would have won the league. Remember under Stratton? We lost the league at the very last game of the season. And that's what I'm saying.
Did Mark O'Neill not want him first as well? For the last season?
I think I may have been a bit too young. He might have been a bit too young at that point. I don't know.
I'm sure it was January 05. I think O'Neill wanted him.
He may have done. But
January 05 because he made his debut for him at 16, mind. So he was 17, 18. I'm sure he was someone.
Right.
O'Neill's last season as well.
I think the window we lost him in. The window we lost him in was the 09-10 season. I think he was due to come to Celtic in January and
08-09.
Ah, you're right. Lowell did the Lowell things, you know what I mean, and we didn't get him. And I still say that it was wise, it was chicken feed for Celtic, and I still say that if we'd just paid that money, we've won the league. Now these are Scottish-based players within the league that every Celtic fan, even to the day they die, will say, we should have got to once. So there is talent within the league. Even a John McGinn, man, forget the fact that he went on to be a player who Man U want, Scottish captain, I think, at some points, and captain for Aston Villa, I think, as well. I might be wrong there. These are players that were under our noses, like Snodgrass, Celtic fan at Livingston, under our nose. You know what I mean?
Still in Albion as well, my beloved mate. My beloved.
Oh, you go then.
Still in Albion. That's why he started on loan. He went on loan then. He was unbelievable. At 17, he was on loan at the Albion. I don't go very often, but I went once. I seen him at Albion, and we were just laughing how good he was, laughing at at 17 years old. Oh, he was phenomenal, mate. Phenomenal. But I always remember as well. Now, again, I'll give another great example. O'Neill's last season, he wanted Paul Hartley, who at this point, the year before, had been the top scoring midfielder in the country and he'd scored 18 goals for Hearts. O'Neill wanted him at 28 years old. They bid 300 grand. 2 Januaries later, we signed him for £1 million. Make sense of that when he's 30. Like, although I still love Paul Hartley for a good 18 months at Celtic, I thought you're very well.
It was good.
I
We
like
did it
Hartley.
with Scottish
really
contingent then, didn't we?
But O'Neill must have been going, are you having a fucking laugh? Like, see when he was in his peak, like he was having the best form of his career. You wouldn't go. So I think you're right. There's loads of examples from the Scottish League. So it'll be interesting to see if we do see, I think, Luke McCowan join potentially. And I would go all out. Just get Lennon Miller in. Make that your win against Bratislava money. Make it that. And you know, give him back on loan. Give him back on loan by all means. Let him keep developing the way he is. But it means an 18-year-old hot prospect isn't going to be on anyone else's books but Celtics for the next 5 years. That's what it's all about. This looks to me like a new version of Celtic.
Because, boys, I don't know if you know this, but you might have missed it on the press conference the other day there because it was kind of muffled at the very, very end. But Rodgers confirmed that after this window, there's going to be a shake-up in Celtic's recruitment. So there's going to be
I watched it all. I know.
It was the very end that you could have missed it if you didn't actually really watch it.
I spoke with Tony Haggerty this week.
That's right. He was the one who was posting one of the questions. I
was talking to him at length on the phone. Tony's a great guy. I mean, a great guy. And not that you need to always say that when you mention his name, but he is.
Last guy,
he is. He's top John. He's good at his job. And I know for a fact, when you watch whenever he asks Brendan a question, Brendan tends to give Tony the best answers. I don't know if you've ever picked up on that. If you can I recognise the voice because I know Tony so well. But if you hear, I name checks him a lot. Good spot, Mark. Good spot. I see you don't miss a trick. And when he did speak about he said, regardless of what happens at the end of the window, it's going to be something that we're revisiting anyway and looking at because clearly, we shouldn't be going into the last week of this window in the position we are. That's the reality. It was like a wee pause and he goes, that's the reality. And I went, fucking listen to that. Do you know what I mean? Like, he is clearly not happy with how it's went so far. That's what I took from it. He's clearly not happy and he's wanting to make that abundantly clear. But secondly, what he's also saying is, even if we get what we want this week, it's not about this timing. It's about, you look at Adam Ida. Adam Ida won't start on Sunday, in my opinion. Is the reason Adam Ida won't start? We've got an $8.5 million striker not starting on Sunday because you're not the benefit of the preseason the rest of the guys are. And he's not up to that speed.
Exactly.
So, I know everyone will fall in the trap and go, oh, the ball's amazing because they've done this and that.
No,
they've done it because firstly they've had their hand forced by money they'll not be able to deny in the accounts coming up. They've not strengthened the first team whatsoever. With Matt O'Reilly leaving, you're actually going to be going into this. The season's already underway, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you noticed that. But they were going to be going with a weaker first team, about £100 million in the bank. They couldn't have these optics. But they've been their hands been forced now. But Ida should be, in my opinion, someone that was in the door like that. Yeah, that's what you do when the window opens. Everyone gets their wee holiday. Ida goes and, basks in the glory of scoring a Scottish Cup winning goal, playing a key role in the cup, and goes, it's a matter of time. As soon as I go back, Celtic and Norwich have thrashed it out, and I'm away to America to play Man City and Chelsea and DC United with Brendan and the boys. And when I get into the season, I start ahead of Kyoto. That would be his mindset. I'm not saying that's how it plays out, but that's your mindset going into it. We've not afforded that for him or even Bernardo, who was there the whole year last season. He's now fucking going to be on, but he's had brilliant impacts against Rangers. I doubt that he'll be I think he will start, but I doubt anyone will fancy him to have the impact we should be looking for from him because he's been later into the door. He's not had that pre-season with us. The players whose performance level seems to have went up a few notches have had. Do you understand where I'm coming from? Engels might come in, Mark, look outstanding when he comes off the bench. But you've going, wouldn't it be nice if he'd started the game, our €13 million player, 11 million quid, whatever you want to call it.
I think he might.
You think they could throw him in? Oh, I'm all for it. Go on.
Well, he should not start. Listen to Rodgers last week. He was saying there's a cut-off point between players leaving the club because he wants to just concentrate on the game ahead. So all that tells me that if you're not in the club by at least Tuesday, Wednesday, you're not going to play, right? We all kind of can understand that thinking. But I think Bernardo might be an impact player at Celtic more than a starting player. I think Engels he's been playing football in the Bundesliga. He's just played games. You know what I mean? He's fit. He's match ready. He's match fit. He's spent a full summer without transfer wrangles. He's been in his club for day one pre-season right up until the day, ready to rock and roll. You know what I mean? He played matches already. So him coming in, he can hit the ground running. He can. Now, whether Saturday's enough. Listen, good players understand good messages. We won't need 14 hours of analysing Rangers to show this boy how to attack Rangers. A good discussion with that boy he'll be able to settle into the team, or at least find a formula for where he can just come out of the team. I think you might see him get a start because we all know Rangers' biggest downside, and they can't help it. The biggest downside against Celtic is they've got to give Carl McGregor space, because if they hound that midfield, the gaps they open and out wide is just not worth it. So Rangers managers tend to give Carl McGregor a lot of space, they hang off him, they tend to be passive, and then try and go for the wide areas and hit the long balls. And we all know that, right? So we need Carl McGregor to be pushed a wee bit further up, 10, 15 yards for Dyson Maeda to get the best out of Callum McGregor and Dyson Maeda, right? But when that boy sit in the middle, that provides you with that parochial vision, you know what I mean? Because he can spray a pass. His passing stats are amazing, by the way. His passing stats are at the very highest level of his age group in the Bundesliga. It is very high. So his passing is phenomenal, right? Long range and close range. So it allows McGregor and Hatate to push out wide, support the overlaps, and then also this boy can work his magic. Give the boy an hour, and then Bernardo comes on. I don't think Bernardo has come in with the guarantees of first-team football, because I think O'Reilly's was going to be the starter. Bernardo was probably going to be the backup, or the backup to Hatate, depending on what formation we're playing and what style of play we're playing, or position we're playing as well. So he's not getting any assurances about starting games as such, although he was a big outlay for the club for a second choice. So I think there's a real possibility that Engels gets thrown in. I think the left back is on the bench on Sunday, but I think Engels gets thrown in, boys. What's this here?
We've just been, I think Celtic girl must be watching a wee bit late. It's Baye. The V is pronounced a B. You know, the judge called that for the get-go, Celtic girl. It's just me. It's my fault. Nobody else's. But thank you all the same for correcting us. Mark, that's been an hour and 50 minutes. It's 282 watching live now. It's been a fantastic show. Optimism, the most optimistic T.N.F me and you have ever done in the history of our Boise bus careers, if you want to call it that.
So.
Anyway, no, it definitely has been, mate.
I might even, as I say to you, I might even go to one of the games that way. Anyway, all the best.
Anyway, listen, everyone, enjoy the rest of your evening. Look over that draw. Pick what games you think we're going to get the points, and let us know in the comments where you think Celtic can pick up points, how they're going to do this Champions League campaign, and also let us know, will they strengthen further? There is 20 hours to go. I've been a late loan signing for the Friday Feeling tomorrow night with Phil David. I won't be wearing no yellow tie though, boys. Do you know what I mean? I'm not with that. I'm not fucking doing that. However, I will be on with you, and I will be looking forward to seeing if Celtic make any last-ditch moves, or if they just leave all their announcements of ones we already know are coming in till the last minute, so it looks like that. Who knows? But join us anyway tomorrow evening for that. And yeah, enjoy the rest of your evening. Thank you so much. Keep your eyes on the board and the Champions League. And Mark Kearney. See you there.